understand that it's the same issues that we're talking about. That in the comparative approach, in this approach, the auditors identify competitors, company as the model. Yeah, as I said, the results of their organization are compared. Hence the word comparative, right? As I'm going to say. The outside authorities where I said, no, we use auditors, we use standards set by an outside consultant. Yeah, as I've said, that you're looking at an external consultant. Because auditing can either be done internally or what? External, right? Yeah, so that's something that we're also going to talk about on the forms of audit when we get there. We'll talk about the forms of auditors. Basically, we have two forms. We have the internal and we also have the external audit. Then on the statistical, as I've already mentioned, is that statistical measures of performance are developed based on the company's existing what? So like I said, that it's really what? Available. All you're doing is simply to analyze the figures. What are the figures saying to me? What is the pattern? What is the trend? No, sometimes serious, eh? This is statistics.
Sir,
this is mathematics.
I will go on statistical approach and compare it. Because when you compare the person, you say you compare individual products or other products, you might have been other. So on the statistical approach, you measure the performance of the person. So what if you compare your products with another one and you see the person you are performing? So why can't I do this statistical approach?
Okay, that's why we said that we can choose which approach you're going to use. But also, from what I'm getting from you, it could be right what you're saying, in the sense that it does not mean that you can use one approach. You get it? Yeah. As you're comparing, it's possible also to compare statistics. You get the point? Yeah? You say, okay, if it's for one of myself, I'm going to compare myself, just one of the, you know, something like that, eh? Yeah. So which means that the comparative can also be on the basis of statistical what? Information, isn't it? The same way that we have seen public limited companies exposing in terms of, I mean not exposing, but providing information about their financial performance. More, I think, in the newspaper, where you see maybe NBS has put their profit and loss statement, their balance sheet, and whatnot. So you're able to know such information, okay, and it's actually in the same industry, I want to reform, right? I think recently, whether you saw it on Zodiac online, that the Centenary Bank has made 900 million as a profit. You saw that? So it's information, isn't it? Where it is statistics, indicating, and that's okay, how much profit are they basically worth? So you can simply compare again in the same industry to say how we're performing as opposed to otherwise. So each particular bank, basically, as a public limited company, you are mandated basically to disclose in terms of your financial information. So why is that so? Because public limited company, we have people that are buying what? Shares. Eh? So which means they have an interest in the what? In the affairs of the what? Of the business. Okay. Can you answer the question? Yes. Right, then the other one as I mentioned is about the compliance, which we're simply looking at the auditors review past action to determine if those activities comply with legal requirements. Okay? And company policies as well as what? Procedures. So the compliance issue is not only just about the legal part, the law part, but also we're looking at that internally as an organization because we do have policies and procedures. So the question is, are we following that as an organization? So we don't want to have policies that are dead in the sense that we have documented them, we have them, but we don't necessarily follow them. Yeah? So the question would be, then why did we develop that particular policy? Yeah? So in the same way, I think you have the policies as students. I don't know what percentage you're given, but apparently that if you're missing classes, it means that your marks also are deducted because you're not being attended. Right? So it's a policy issue. So the question is, if that policy is there, but someone has missed the whole semester, hasn't been getting in class, and yet you are home, then we can also do a compliance policy to say, okay, how is the organization compliant in terms of what it has stated? Because this is an issue to do with a policy which the organization has what? Has set. So an auditor can come and look at such kind of issues and say, okay, are you really following your procedures? Are you really following the policies that you have set? Are you really following as per law requirements? If the law says that you cannot employ somebody who is below the age of 18, if that is what is really happening in the organization, yeah, you just give that as an example, right? Yeah. Because by law, basically, you're not employ a minor who is below the age of 18. And then the last one, as we have said, is simply the MBO approach, which we're saying that the organization creates specific goals against which performance can be what? Measured. So that's why I'm saying that you're looking at the actual vis-a-vis the set what? Objectives. And that was known as the MBO approach. So you have basically 5 approaches. So you have a choice whether to choose one, or you can combine in terms of the approaches, depending on the type of audit that you want to conduct. And because you're looking at information that is valid, then it might be also right to basically combine a number of approaches so that you get the right information. The types of audits. Yeah, so we have basically 4 types of audits. So one is the compliance, as we have seen, and we have already explained. That one is that it focuses on how well the company is complying with current federal, state, and local laws and regulations. But also we added issues concerning the policies, but also the procedures as part of compliance. Number 2, we're saying that again, the other type of audit is where we're looking at best practices. So how do you know that this is the best practice? Depending on those that are the best in that particular industry. So we're saying that it helps the organization to maintain or improve competitive advantage. Because all we are looking for is to have added advantage over our rivals. So it means we should be doing something special that basically helps us to have an added advantage over our rivals. So we improve competitive advantage by comparing its practices with those of companies identified as having exceptional HR what? So the keeper is on the last part here. Comparing its practices with those of the companies identified as having exceptional HR what? Practice. So look at your industry. Which organizations seem to have exceptional meaning that they're the best? You go in their organization, literally nobody wants to resign. A typical example is the UN. You get in, rarely people think about resigning. Why? Because of course the conditions are good, chances of growth, of getting more employment from within are very high. But not only that, also their HR practices are also very good. So we can take that as a best practice and try to compare with our organization. So that's what we're looking at. How do you know that it's the best practice? Because you're looking at the other organizations and how they are performing. So if they're performing better than you, that means they're doing something better than you are. Right? And what it means is we want to learn from them how they are doing their thing. Okay? And that's what basically we're talking about here. Then the third one is basically the strategic audit. So the strategic audit is simply looking at focusing on the strengths and weaknesses of an organization. So meaning to say that we find a way of how we are going to basically turn our weaknesses into strength. And how is that going to be strategic? Because what we're saying is that whatever we do, we should align the HR department together with the strategic what? Strategy. So as an organization, I say that often, that you normally have a strategic plan, which is talking about your plans in the next 5 years, next 5 years. But you to meet those particular plans in the next 5 years, it depends also on your strength and your weaknesses. Because if you're too weak, then it means you don't get to 5 years, isn't it? And you don't achieve your plan. If you have more strength, then yes, you're better off. You should be able to meet your plans that you have set in the next 5 years. So, talking about the strengths and weaknesses, it means it's more focusing on the internal issue. Because the strength of the organization are are more attributed to the what? To the internal what? To the internal environment. Okay. Do you have something to try? Yes. What? See, you're really checking that out. I was wondering what's happening outside there. You might be so nice on the camera. Who has probably been in your shoes before as well? Yeah. So that's the strategic audit, which is simply focusing on the strengths and weaknesses of the organization, and to check also how well aligned are your HR department together with the strategic plan of the organization. And the last one is basically a functional audit. So the functional audit, we are simply focusing on the function of an HR department. Yeah. So the HR department, what are the functions? Staffing, recruitment, selection, compensation, health and safety. Yeah, all those. Yeah. So we say we look at those particular functions and audit them. How are you doing your recruitment? What is your recruitment process? Do you just pick someone on the street and then say, come and teach you, come and start teaching? Is that how you recruit? Is that how you select? What is the criteria that you use? What are processes that you use? So what to audit such kind of what? Processes, on this particular function. How do you compensate people? How do you pay? On what basis do you determine that, Roman this is about 100,000 per month, Kid this is about 150. Why? What's the difference there? So you want to audit such kind of what? Issues. Yeah, so we're simply looking at the functions of the HR and trying to audit that to say how these things are done. So we've just gave them examples here with the payroll, can be issues of performance management, can be in terms of the record, in terms of the retention rate of the organization. So many things that we can basically look at on the functions, because we are simply looking at the functions of the HR and the department. So what we are auditing is basically, again, we are concerned about the human resources. Yes.
You said that the organization or the industry, they compare financial functions to other companies?
No, not compare the functions, but look at the HR function. Yeah? What processes do you follow? As part of HR, what do you do basically to the people to make sure you're still maintaining this way? Yeah, or people are not probably leaving the job, or probably people are performing, or your employees are motivated. What makes them do that?
Because of that part, I think it's staff. First years, another improving on the money. So really, there's a big tension.
Many people are using
that. But they are still posting back in the newspaper. So why? They don't want to use best practices. They know that people to be against the practice because now they don't plan. Now they are so we can
okay, here is the reality about it. Now I should talk about reality on the ground. Yes. Best practices does not necessarily mean that sometimes the organization does not know that there's something better than what we're doing. Only that, sometimes as an organization, we're looking at it as a cost. And then we're looking at what do you feel, what is it that we can do? example, if probably this university had 5,000 people, I think they will wish better than for their staff. Isn't it? Probably say, yeah, that was possible. But it's only possible if you have what? Resources, isn't it? So sometimes you come to a compromise because you're looking at what you can manage to do. So I'm answering now probably on behalf of staff. Well, okay. Probably yes, they're having high labor turnover, a lot of people are leaving, and you ask the question, say, well, is it good or they don't want to use best practice? Or what's best practice? So I'm trying to answer in line with that. The practicality is sometimes that you know what is best from what you can't afford to do it. So you end up compromising and saying, no, changing over the okay? So it's possible we live in our lectures that we are here and do from the transport, the car, bus, and we never get a bunda. You know, like a bunda, don't have to do a plastic boom of that in the lectures. Mobile school. Masulo Sama Savannah Show. I'm a denga so I'm a staff also in my new lectures, Cassia school. The bus does that. So, for an employee, it's a what? It's a benefit, So you look at such kind of issues, will you leave employment in such cases? And probably even now also they get my fees, woman get my staff houses. So these are practices which can also help a specific organization to perform better than us. But doesn't mean that ourselves also as an investor we can't go and find out what they are doing. But the issue is, can we manage to do it? That's what we're saying, yeah? But sometimes it's also the little we are doing even with, the spiritual is not really cost the manual period of so there's certain things that still more we can want, we can improve, Any other questions? We're together? Okay. So as I said, the forms of audit, we have two forms of audit. We have the internal and we have the external. So in the internal, we're saying that we use an internal auditor which is conducted by the company's own staff as part of their control activity. So it's someone who is already within an organization. So that's why we're using the word. An internal audit is where we're simply focusing on our own staff, our own employees. Okay? While with an external audit, as I've said, we're using a consultant, that hence the word external audit. But what would be the advantage and disadvantage of where we're using an internal auditor, and where we're using an external auditor? Tell me please. Advantage? Yes, advantage. We share. If I wish to start with the internal and turn it from the external, it's fine. I hope you'll not be reading the point which is reading. Advantage of the external audit, it can reduce cost. Reduce cost? Because you hire an expertise to come to your organization to do the train them. But if you have an audit in an organization and you see to do the payment, you reduce the cost. Sure. So internal audit will be less costly and like engaging somebody from outside of the industry will charge you very high, won't be cheap. Yeah, so sure. What about the disadvantage?
I think the measure of that is opinion.
Okay. If it is what? Internal. Because someone from within it. Sometimes it's very difficult to admit that someone was allowing it. So in the same line case, that's what you're saying. Sometimes it's not that the organization it's possible. You need somebody to wake you up. We didn't even notice that. Yeah? So yeah, it happens sometimes. So yeah. So for the external audit, what's the disadvantage? For the external audit, what would be the disadvantage? One company is going to get in there. It's costly. Okay.
When you're writing the external audit, maybe you might write some better information outside. You need to be able to get that to the community.
Whistleblowing, yeah? So we're looking at that. Sometimes an external auditor will come across some important information that is not supposed to be disclosed. So probably because he's a consultant, he can use such information as leverage. It's possible. Come on a payroll with another organization, nice or many of our audit. So you're using it privileged information. Now you're using it for your own advantage, just because you came across certain information that you're not supposed to. So and that's one of the reasons why some organizations prefer to use an internal auditor as opposed to an external, because they are sometimes scared. They say, I want to do my records, that's one of the tax degree 10 years ago. And what if I got in the year? I have a whistleblower organization receive data. Then you want to get away and check your files, when your receipts are, when your financial records are, then that's it. Those things happen.
I don't have a question. Just want to know. Like the external income organization. The
contract. It's possible. Because one of the issues that we will talk about on the process is that when the auditors come, you have to guide them to say what is it that they'll be looking at. But what I'm saying is it's an organization. You sometimes stumble on information that you're not supposed to come across. Because like I say, when you're an auditor, you're there, company they want an access. Access in the sense of the guy, my password, my systems, and then you come across the information and you see the flash saying, wouldn't the information memory. The organization may not even know that you have done that. It's just the same as what happened in the first capital bank, that's payroll in a bank. So something that was intentional. No matter because just came across because someone was sending a file and they attached the wrong file because again I was available. And I said, I know then more on a share. Can I read the way on WhatsApp? Can I read the and now these days you understand about how things go viral very fast. All of a sudden information there is important. So to further still answer your question, Keith, it does not mean that even the organization does not have a criteria for picking an external audit. They do have. But what I was just saying is that sometimes if you have an ethical person, you find that they will come across in the thing and you use them also as leverage for other whether assignments or whether because you have another task in another organization and you can use such information in your own personal one. Actually, I always talk about this, that the coming in of Suncrest was because an employee was working in the industry. So he was in charge of the production. So when she was able to do some shit, he was thinking so now Suncrest is a close competitor to what? How did that happen? Because he was someone who was already working with what? So many organizations they have, and basically I think a lot of entrepreneurs what to mind was more or less like copying. Wrong system or one amazing game is we were in. How can you imagine that? I'm not just more purpose, was true. Why in so much? The gentleman, in this room, one of the fun meaning that we are going. As little as the most one day. It's an ethical, of course, but People do that. Yeah. But now these days you find that organizations are now very clever. If they know that you're handling some secrets of the organization, now they make you swear an oath of secrecy. Okay? So that now it's legally binding. If you're sworn an oath of secrecy of this is a ruler, like the way our politicians do, they swear also an oath of secrecy, they touch the Bible and they swear, I'm not going to swear in, or you've heard about that, the president is swearing in with the parliament or whatever, they swear in. So they are swearing basically an oath of secrecy. So if you go against what information you're supposed to remain as secret, it means it's a breach. So someone can sue you. Okay? That what was the information you're assuming many over. Yeah, so that's another way on how organizations are now protecting themselves from trade secrets. That's why now Coca-Cola now understands why the secret is always left with the family. No one knows it. Not even the production team. I don't know where my girls are mixture here in India, and magic and gentle but they don't know the mixture in my body. I'm in the moja. You will know what the final life is now. Mixture in raw material. Just in that is you. If I were a production, okay, gentlemen, raw material is the name of us. Now you can understand that, but if you was here, I was able to work we admire, and that's why you can say that Coca-Cola has been a very successful product on the market for years and years until now, and there's no close substitute. People have tried to imitate, to copy, not even Pepsi is near Coca-Cola. Doesn't it? You can actually go to school that we will get Magasite is coming to India. Yeah, it should be England. Oh, Denmark is, Denmark is powerful. But I understand that it's a family business. And I'm going to transfer information here. Okay, just you come on, your family, and the Maria, that's why I don't come around more. I don't think that the secret will have remained for so many years as it is now.
The machine that was about
five meals of chocolate. Yeah. But when you read the biography or the history of Coca-Cola, you realize that because there was a point where people even thought of Jamaica on track. And I'm gonna see Coca-Cola, because when you fix in many now is market leader, Coca-Cola was basically drawn back. Yeah. Some people, of course, up to now, they still believe Coca-Cola is a big high gainer guy. Yes. I don't know whether it's true or not. Then people feel like sometimes maybe I might not want that because no one knows it. So people have all their kinds of speculations there. All sorts of things that we talk about. So if an outsider auditor is under consideration, you can also evaluate the following issues. The first thing that you can look at is, okay, compliance expertise in your state law and local law. So what we're trying to say is that if you have picked an external auditor, one of the things that you have to look at is how conversant is that particular person with your local laws. Because sometimes the consultant may be somebody who is an expatriate, it's possible. So is he conversant? Or sometimes he can even be local, but he's not conversant about the laws that you're talking about. He's someone who is used to the banking sector. I'm just giving that as an example, that you have expertise in looking at the banking issue. You cannot have also the same expertise if you have to look at an education sector. As I said, that okay, we have the Banking Act, and we also have, for the education sector, we have the what? The National Council for Higher Education Sector. Yeah? Or the Education Act. Yeah? So we're looking at also the level of what? Expertise. Then you have, whether you have the knowledge of what or not. Yeah? So when you're bringing in a consultant, we have to also look at that. Does the person understand compliance issues? Does the person understand about the laws? When still fits an expatriate, then we're also talking about that laws are different from country to what? So here we're saying that no, we don't allow maybe somebody to be employed in the HOV. Maybe in other countries they do allow. Okay? We may not know that, depending on what country. Yes? You've seen actually the thing that has gone viral about the women football. There was one young lady, this from Morocco, and about a hijab. Nafaa hijab huo kwa sababu wakati mabasi trouble. So people have, all sorts of criticized about it. Yeah, it's not about it because the lady wanted and getting moving on trouser. So I don't know, it's not ideal that the bar trouser is supposed to wear a shirt. But because they're looking at issues concerning my religion, so you know how the Muslims are about exposing their body parts. They always want to keep what covered. So these are issues that we're looking at. Compliance, in terms of also what is the ideal cultural way of doing things. When you're also considering the outside auditor, you might also look at how familiar is he with your art industry. Yeah, has he done other audits, or maybe does he have any prior auditing experience with other organizations? Yeah. So you have to also pick someone who is basically familiar with your type of plan. But also, do you have any prior auditing expertise? Have you done auditing elsewhere? So that's why even if you're picking an auditor, you'll be interested to know whether that consultant has done similar work somewhere else. Then you can have a referral point of view. You can ask basically as a reference and try to find out more about his performance. And whether indeed he has been able to contribute positively to the organization. If not, then you may not be picked as an auditor. Because definitely such kind of issues, they would expect to have an expression of interest in the newspaper, and you have a lot of people that will submit in terms of their proposals to basically work as a consultant. So you have to also have the criteria as an organization to say, who are we going to pay? And some of the issues that we have looked at as we have already. But it might not be only that. There will be several issues that you have also looked at. It can even be in terms of qualification, and so all that you choose in terms of who you incorporate. It may also depend also in the type of audit that you are conducting. Because you're looking at, okay, how would you know that he has experience on audit? Because you're looking at what you want and what this particular person possesses in terms of his previous experience. So what is the task of the auditor?
Mm-hmm.